You came to this video for a reason, and it may not be the reason that you think. I've been fortunate in my life. I've also learned a lot of things the hard way. 41 years old now, built and sold multiple businesses, made millions, lost millions, struggled with the ups and downs of life and the challenges of learning. I'm a father to two beautiful young boys and the husband to a beautiful wife that I love dearly. And in that sense, I feel more blessed than I could have ever imagined being, in all honesty. And at the same time, I feel like I'm just at the beginning. The truth is that we're all trying to find our way through this process. And there is no trophy at the end. There's no, like, you made it to the finish line and then, woohoo, it's done. Life is a series of constant learnings, lessons, ups and downs. It's a roller coaster and it's unpredictable and nothing is guaranteed. And I think what I've seen with a lot of young people, especially, is that uncertainty for them is very stressful. And like most people, myself included, uncertainty throws you off. You know, it's hard to come to terms with the fact that things are not guaranteed in life. That just because you work hard or you get a type of an education or you check the boxes that society tells you to check, that everything's going to work out exactly how you planned it. And unfortunately, as you get older, you realize that that's total BS, actually. In fact, almost always, your path veers off its initial course. And what I found in the most successful people is that they're open-minded, they stay positive, they roll with the punches, and they keep trying, and they keep getting up, and they find ways to turn all of that hard stuff into learning lessons or good things. They extract an ROI from it, if that makes sense. One of the hardest lessons I've learned over the years was around trust and trusting people. I invested money with somebody that I trusted, that I believed in, and they ended up losing all the money. And it was a lot of money. It was a substantial amount of money. It was a big chunk of my net worth. And it was money that I worked really, really hard to earn through my businesses. It's money that, could have gone to other things, could have bought a house, could have started a new business with it, could have done a million things. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? And it's been painful, of course, and I still have a twinge in my stomach and my chest when I think about it because, obviously I'd love to have it resolved and have the money back. But at the same time, that was an important fork in the road in my life for me. And it's actually inspired me to write a book called What to Do When Things Go Wrong. Because actually, it's not the first time that something like that has happened to me. Maybe not to that scale or that amount of money, but it's not the first time that a bad thing has happened to me. It's certainly not the first time that I've been, lied to, misled, however you want to call it. And it just goes to show that even somebody who at face value is successful, has achieved a lot, I'm pretty confident about my business acumen and the things I've been able to do, could still have something like that happen to them. The difference is now how I look at it and how I get back up from it and how I approach what you do when something goes wrong. And I think the first thing is that you have to realize that it happened and accept it, right? Whether that's that's the death of a loved one, whether it's losing money, like in this case, whether it's a breakup, whether it's whatever serious matter it is and how it affects you. Obviously, everybody has their own, levels of pain and experiences that they relate to. But the first thing you need to do is just accept that it's happened. the old you is not there anymore. That old, like, situation or scenario, it doesn't exist anymore. And the human mind is wired in a way where we constantly try to look at things from different angles and try to understand, and we create these repetitive loops for ourselves, which, if they go unchecked, become really dangerous, because you never escape, or rather not escape, but you never get past the feeling of wanting to go back to how things were before. And the reality is that you cannot go back most of the time. You know, in my case, I can't make the money appear. I can't go back in time and change my decisions. I can't do anything about that, right? So it's really a waste of energy to keep trying to do that and focus on that thing when it doesn't have any impact on my life moving forward. It's really hard to do that, and it's easier said than done for almost everybody, myself included, but that is the first step in moving forward from when something goes wrong in your life. You have to internalize the fact that you can't go back to the old situation. And the more time you spend dwelling on it, the worse you're going to feel, and the further you're going to set yourself back, right? That's the number one thing. I always think back to this meeting I had years ago. I went to this kind of entrepreneur group. It was a mix of young people, older, successful, up-and-comers, you know, and we got a chance to mingle with other people. And there was this guy there who, like, in my first meeting with him, he just kept talking about how his family used to be really wealthy, and, you know, they lost all the money and it was so horrible. They never recovered. You know, he lost all the money. And like multiple times throughout the night, he kept saying that to me. And I was just so struck by it at the time, where I felt like this guy's whole identity is that now. And it's like he can't get past it almost. He's like forever stuck in that loop. And that's super scary. It scared me a lot at the time, and it shook me. And, you know, now that I've had this situation happen to me, I also kind of get it a little bit, you know? It can be very easy to let something like that define you, but you cannot let it define you. You have to make the choice to take that and turn it into something else, extract an ROI from it. And, you know, one of the most important lessons that I've learned over the years is when things go wrong, you have to turn them into something positive, whether that be a lesson, whether that be, you know, a new coat of armor for yourself, a shield, a knowledge, you know, something that you can use moving forward, you know, extract a return from that loss. And if you can figure out how to do that, I think it's one of the first steps in moving forward. One of the lessons that I took away from all of this, and one of the exercises I did, was I actually wrote down all these things, how I felt at the time, you know, what I was going through, what it costs me, you know, what it meant for me to, you know, have this loss happen. And it was very painful to do it, but it was almost like cathartic that I got all this on paper, and then, you know, you could throw it away, or you can keep it for future to look at it later on and laugh about it, or you can burn it. You almost want to write an angry letter to, you know, either to yourself or to, you know, if someone's inflicted some pain or problem on you, you know, write a letter to them. You're not actually going to send it to them, but you're going to get it out on paper, and you're going to get it out of your mind, and you're going to start to look at it objectively and say, you know, this is what it cost me, but this is what I'm going to get from it. And that was the first step. That's helped me a lot in all the things that I've experienced in my life, you know, good or bad, stuff that's been painful too, because, you know, money in reality is just one pillar of life. There's going to be other things that will happen to you, you know, like, I mean, I mentioned the death of a loved one. that's way more painful than losing money. I mean, money you can make back, right? You can't get time back. You can't get, experience with your kids back, their youth, or a loved one like my grandmother, for example. I always think about her, and she passed away a couple of years ago, and really, really devastated me because I was so close to her. But I always think about her, and, I just cherish those memories, but also, I know that I can't go back in time. And as painful as it is, it's just a reality. And so, that's the first thing I want to impart in this video. And I don't have any specific goal with this video necessarily, but just to talk to you, whether you're a young person struggling with something or you're an entrepreneur getting started. Maybe you came across my video that way because I talk a lot about business and entrepreneurship and building brands. But I think the mental aspect of life is almost more powerful, and it defines you in a lot of ways more than anything else can, whether it's money or whatever, status, this kind of stuff. The second thing that I learned, and my approach for when things go wrong, is you have to accept the fact that no one's going to come to save you. And unfortunately, we live in an era, where people expect that, right? Whether it's the government to save you, whether it's, society, whether it's someone else, something, we expect to be saved. And it even trickles down into a religious element in our lives. But the truth is, no one's going to come to save you. You have to take the reins and correct course yourself. And again, going back to the first point, if you don't accept what's happened and accept that that cannot be anymore, you can't go back, then you're never going to get to the second part, which is, basically realizing that you are the person in charge of your destiny. You're the person in charge of your life, and no one's going to come and save you. And sometimes that's scary for people. I think a lot of people feel a sense of vulnerability in life, which is totally normal. Some people don't have mental fortitude or have problems being self-reliant. However, the most successful people that I know realize that no one's going to come to save them. And that doesn't mean that you can't count on other people. I want to be clear here. The most successful people I know have huge networks, have huge support groups, have friends to talk to, have, war stories to share, resources to tap into. That is different from understanding that those people are not going to run your life. They're not responsible for your life. You are. You are responsible for your own life and your own outcomes. And part of being responsible for your own life and your own outcomes is building that network, being valuable to people, being a resource to others, so that when bad things do happen to you, you have, a support system and a network of people that can help you bounce back. But again, they are not going to be responsible for the outcomes in your life. You have to take charge of that. And that's a really, really important thing that both young and old need to embrace, because I still see people that are adults who have a childlike mentality in that sense, where it's always somebody else's fault, or, life is unfair because of this or that. And you know what? Life is unfair. Okay, that's the truth. Life is very unfair. Some people have it easier than others. Okay, you can't control that. You can control yourself, your attitude, your energy, what you put into things, what you do for others. That you can control. But life is not fair, and no one is going to come to save you. Those are the first two things you need to recognize when something bad happens to you. Over the past couple of years, I've been through so much stuff. I had a health issue with my youngest son. I had my own health issues. My other family members had health issues and serious scares, financial ups and downs. I mean, for the most part, things have gone really well overall, and things are going really well. But like everybody else, I have problems. I think the difference is that, I decided not to wallow in it anymore. I decided to pick myself up and lead by example, because when you have people that rely on you, especially your kids, you realize that they watch everything you do and they listen to you closely, and you have to lead by example. For me, it means being a man of my word. It means being a man who believes in optimism and believes in the beauty of life, and who likes to live life, who enjoys life, who also works hard and has responsibility for my family. I want my sons to see that, right? To see how I treat my wife with loving care and kindness and respect, and, honor her position in our family, and, value her for everything that she does for us, which is so amazing. My life would be empty without her, realistically. I want my kids to see that, and I want my sons to understand that that's an integral part to me about manhood and masculinity. I'm not saying that that's the one way to do it. Everybody can think whatever they want, and they can make their own archetype. That's the beauty of life. You can create yourself however you want. But for me, that's important. And so that's been my focus over the years. And while these losses and these challenges, and of course these wins and success too, aren't going to fully define me, I also want to help you, whoever's watching this, understand that there is always going to be a lesson in the pain. Things are never as bad as they seem in the moment. And if you're down, if you feel lost, if you feel like bad things are happening to you, or you're dealing with something very serious, you can always reach out to me. I'm available. I'm here to talk to people if they have issues. But I want you to know that, number one, you're not alone, because other people go through it. And number two, the harsh reality is that you're in charge of your own life. And while other people can give you the tools to be successful, hopefully this video and some of my guidance can help you, you have to be in charge of yourself, and you need to pick yourself back up and take the steps to be better every day. Life is beautiful. Life is full of so much incredible things to experience. And we're here for such a brief moment in time, literally just a blip. I mean, when you think about the cosmic timeline, it's like nothing, but it's everything. So enjoy it, savor it. I wish you the best. And in my next video, I'll talk about some of the other lessons and things that you can use when bad things happen. See you soon.